So just a little bit of housekeeping before I get started is you'll have access to the PowerPoint slides. That's generally like a concern when you're watching, you're trying to take photos and stuff. All good, I'll provide them for you. And also, like I was just saying to our early comers, is to make sure you have like a pen and paper in front of you, because the format that I'm working with this webinar is to just like ask you guys questions. You don't have to, just one moment, I'm admitting people into the webinar. It's just, yeah, I just want you to ask yourself those questions and make notes, and then you walk away with something tangible and a plan, and because this is just the starting of really understanding your marketing strategy. Or if you already know your marketing strategy, it's just, this webinar is a great little reminder of things that you should be thinking about when it comes to marketing for your pharmacy. Okay, just checking everyone. All right, I'm going to get started. Thank you everyone for getting up so nice and early for me. I know not everyone is like me and loves getting up at the crack of dawn. I got up at 5 a.m. this morning because I was so excited for this webinar, and I made sure that when John got into the office that we had our coffees ready. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. I'm really, really excited, and this is the first of many peak webinars. During COVID, we were using Zoom so much, and we already provide so much content online, and we see really great engagement from our database. And we just thought, you know what, we need to start putting out webinars. It's convenient for you guys. You can either watch it in the morning before you head into the pharmacy, or you will have some later like in the evening as well. And it's going to be an array of topics, not just marketing, but I am the first for peak. And yeah, we're really, really excited. So before we begin, a few of you don't know me, a few of you I do know, and so I'm just going to share some fun facts about me, just to get an icebreaker for myself and for you guys. Okay, one moment. Okay, 3 fun facts about me. The first one, I have over 9 years experience in marketing. Prior to working with John at Peak Strategies, I worked in the real estate industry, which is very, very interesting. And no, I wasn't a rep. I'm not, not being mean to reps, but yes, that wasn't me. I was the marketing manager for a real estate company that had 5 offices. They also had a finance broking arm and a settlement agent. The biggest thing lesson that I learned from my experience in real estate is the power of a really strong connected database. So you can have people's numbers, phone numbers and email addresses, but if you're not creating meaningful and strong relationships with them, then they're not likely going to use you, and they're just going to hit the spam folder in the email, and they're going to screen your calls. So it's really, really important and very similar. I'm sorry if you're offended if I'm going to relate pharmacy to real estate, but they are very similar in that notion of community and connection and like building that trust and loyalty, because purchasing a house is really, really stressful and such a big investment of time and money for people. I mean, moving house is one of the most stressful things that someone could, there's been studies that it's really stressful. So you really got to make sure that you're positioning yourself as the person that can help these people, guide them through the process of buying and selling. Excuse me, tickling my throat already. So yeah, it was really, really interesting, and the offices that I worked at were in different areas, so I had to learn to adapt to different market areas and farm areas. One moment, I'm just going to... Different farm areas, so different people, different demographics. So it was really, really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Then fast forward to early 2017, I joined John and Vic at Peak Strategies. And in the 3.5 years that I've worked here, I really believe that we've done some really cool, fun projects. One being our affiliation with the Future Pharmacy Program and the Pharmacy Guild. If you haven't already looked at some of their content, definitely jump on and look. And I'm not just saying that because I've written some of it, and John, it's actually really great. And Lindsay and Lucinda at the team at the Pharmacy Guild are just doing some really great work there. And then we've also done our blogs. We have over 100 blogs, all dedicated to pharmacy, accounting, marketing, valuations, opinion pieces. It's insane. John and I were just looking at how much we've written, and we love it. And it's really great. And the power of that is we want to provide pharmacies with research and education stuff that they can look at their own time. We want to help our clients take their business to new heights, whether that be marketing or accounting. So that's been really cool. And also the Speaking Pharmacy podcast. So you guys may or may not have listened to my recent episode with John. That was the first time where I was actually being interviewed with John, which is really funny because I've actually sat in every single interview. So I think that's a really cool introduction to what we're talking about today in terms of marketing strategy. So if you haven't already, I say jump on and listen to that. Okay, another fun fact about me. My favorite social media platform is Instagram. I don't just use Instagram for engaging with my friends. To be honest, I probably follow way more friends than my friends and family. Sorry, Mum. Sorry, my sisters. I use it as a source of information where I research brands and find things that really relate to me and my value set. I look up recipes. All of my clothes are pretty much like bought through me going to someone's Instagram page and clicking through the link and going there. I also use it for news, especially at the moment with like COVID and all the recent stuff that's been happening over in the US. I go to some trusted resources on Instagram and look up that. So as a consumer, I really, really value Instagram as a platform in a marketing perspective, from a marketing perspective. And I also follow, pop culture and some Real Housewives, but no, definitely more for the news and for buying decisions. So, and then the last one is just something that I always like to get out the way because it always comes up in conversation with me. And if you've watched or spoken to me, like watched anything that I've done with the guild, or if you've like chatted to me, I always manage to bring this up. So let's just get it out the way. My best friend is my golden retriever, Henry. He's just amazing. Here he is, cutest. Don't worry, this is not going to be a presentation about Henry, but I'll just quickly give you guys a fun story. When I started at Peak Strategies, everyone thought my fiance was called Henry, who is my now husband. His name's actually James, it's just I speak about the dog a lot more than him. All right, enough about me, let's get started. Understanding your marketing strategy. So, understanding your marketing strategy. Through this, this is what this webinar is going to be about. And like I was saying before, it is about, sorry, I was just checking if anybody else had signed in. I wasn't ignoring you guys. So understanding your marketing strategy. Today is all about you guys digging deep and looking into what is working within your pharmacy that could help with your marketing. Because a lot of the times pharmacy clients come to me and they will say that they don't really understand marketing. It seems really complicated and overwhelming. When really I actually think you guys are underselling yourself and you actually do have a marketing strategy, you're just not implementing it within your pharmacy, because your marketing strategy is pretty much what customers think of you when they walk into your pharmacy. It is pretty much your retail products, it is your team, it is your products and services, it's the collaborations you have, it's so much. And pretty much having the marketing strategy just brings that all together, and then so you can output a message and control what people are thinking of you. So today I want you to really dig deep and dream big and be really forward thinking. Like I'm sure that there's some visions and some goals that you have for your pharmacy that you kind of shied away from because it seems like a really big deal or a lot of work. And I'm letting you know today, this webinar will help you really start thinking of a plan of attack, how to implement your marketing strategy within your pharmacy. So before we get stuck into what the steps that you need to take, I just want to reiterate how important it is to why have a marketing strategy for your pharmacy. So why have a marketing strategy for your pharmacy? It helps define your vision. So you guys all have some type of vision. It helps you understand your business goals as well. I just think definitely in terms of measurement and KPIs, marketing KPIs are so important because it really does help you achieve your business goals. It outlines the steps you need to take to achieve both your vision and your goals. So it helps with your goals and your vision. So awesome. And then it allows you to track your marketing plan strategically. I see a lot of pharmacies doing a lot of stuff. So they've got catalogs, they've got social media, they've got, you know, events, professional service, all of these things, but they don't really understand why they're doing it, and they don't have a plan, and there's no real strategy behind it. So by truly understanding your marketing strategy, it gives you more clarity within your business. So, and it allows you to track all of your marketing activities that you are doing strategically, which I think is really, really important. Marketing sometimes can be seen like airy-fairy, and I will admit sometimes like I'm working on some really cool things and then I work in a team of accountants and it does seem like, well, what is Sarah doing? But the other hand of marketing is really data-driven and very strategic. So there's the psychology and the things like that, and then the creative side, and then there's the data and the analytics. So understanding your marketing strategy allows you to be strategic and make like decisions within your business. Okay. So let's begin. Now that we understand the why, it helps them define your vision, it helps you understand your business, set business goals, and it also helps you like be strategic with what you invest in terms of marketing for your pharmacy. Okay, so the first thing is, like I said before, we're going to go through with some questions. I want you to think back before you were a pharmacy owner, back before you were a pharmacy manager, and think to why you would want to be a pharmacy owner. Why are you in business? What were you thinking? Because I think it's really, if you watch and see, if you go to like, Vic recently went to the NAPSA conference prior to COVID, and the passion and the drive of the pharmacy students, you guys were all there once. What was your why? I really like to think that, because when we sometimes enter business, like the Monday day-to-day happens, life happens, also, and you begin to feel like form this bias towards it. But marketing really helps you to refuel and that passion that you once had, and it can help you inject that into your business. So why are you in business? Really think that for yourself, because if there is a reason why you chose to be in pharmacy, and there's a reason why you have a passion for it, and that helps form your values. And marketing is really intertwined with your value set. And I'm just about to give you one hint. It can't only be about money, because let's face it, if it was only about money, there's a plenty of things in the world that you can do to generate lots of money. Well, you know what I mean. But that can't be the only driving factor as to why you decided to work within the pharmacy industry and transition to management and ownership. So understanding the why is really important. And then also in terms of marketing, like I was saying before, it really impacts team culture and things like that as well. So if you understand your why, you're able to communicate to all of the stakeholders within your pharmacy, and that includes your team. So I want you to write that down, make a mental note and why you're in business. And after this webinar, sit down, grab another cup of tea if you like, John. You have 5 teas a day, it's fine. Sit there and think about the why, and then also think back to that mindset of when you were a pharmacy student and you didn't have the biases, and what is it? It could be because you're a scientist, you love medications, and you like helping people have the best medication for their lifestyle, or it could be that drive to help people. It could be a family reason as to why you're in business, to help provide for your family. And also that family network you wanted to work with, like that, working with, or you wanted to work for yourself and you want to be the one that's like the leader of change. And just think about the why. Okay, so that's the first question that I'm going to ask you. The second one is closely second to the why, and it's what are your values? So your values is such an important factor for your business, and it should be something that if I went and asked any of your team member within your pharmacies, that they would be able to like say it straight away. I'm going to pick on John at the moment, John Bonnet, Director of Peak Strategies. His values is definitely driven around relationships and family, and then also flexibility. And I can tell you that that is what Peak is all about. We're the Peak fam, and if you are a client with us, we look after you so well, and you have that family sort of notion in terms of like, we look after you, there's that trust, there's that open communication, there's that transparency. John is very flexible in terms with the team when it comes to family. He also treats us like a member of his own, you know, give or take. It's that notion of familiarity, family, and then transparency, open communication, and flexibility. And it's really, I can definitely think when I think of all of the interactions we have with our clients, and even the team that John's put on, and all of that, we all definitely embody that family value. So what are your values? So is your values family? Is your values, for example, is it like, it could be like price, it could be expertise, it could be knowledge, it could be a value on a particular service, or something that like you're really passionate about. What are your values? And if your team members can't answer that question, or if you can't answer that question, I really want you to sit down and think about it, because it really makes marketing so simplified when you know this. All of the content that I create for Peak Strategies is with the back of the mind, does this align with Peak Strategies values? Does this work in? That's why you'll see, like, we've got the office mascot that we talk about. We talk about stuff that's happening, you know, Fruity Friday, which, by the way, John and Vic, we should get back onto that, because I love trying the different fruits. You know, we also, when we have a new client on board, we make sure they come in and they meet everybody in the team. Like, it's a very, you know, they feel very inclusive. We have our end of year drinks with everybody, because we want to see those people, we want to have those relationships. So that is definitely our value set. And I see that in some, working with some of my pharmacy clients, definitely their value is of team culture. And I go in and I can just see the personality and how like connected the owner and the team are with their value set. And then also the customers see that, and then the customers feel a part of the family, or the customers know that they can go to their local pharmacist because they're the experts when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to immunity. Definitely immunity at the moment, I'm sure you guys get that a lot. But yeah, what is your value set? So now that you know your values and you understand your why, what do you want to be known for? So do you want to be known for price, which is a big one, and some big discounters have really leveraged that as their marketing strategy? Do you want to be known as a local member of the community? Is that what you really like? You want that notion of community within your pharmacy? Do you want to be known for a particular niche offering or service? Do you want to be known for your team because you've just like really invested a lot of time into personal development and growth for your team, and you want to utilize them, and you've built this really solid network? Do you want to be known for your collaborations, that you know that you know, to look after one person takes a village, and so you know you've got strong relationships with the local GP, you've got strong relationships with the chiro, physio, baby nurse, psychologist, all of that, and then you've got this like network, and like you want to be known that when a person comes in to see you, because you guys are generally the first point of contact, that you're able to refer to all these people. It's just, what do you want to be known for? And once again, this also ties in with your values and with your why, because if you're suddenly just choosing a blanket because you suddenly, for example, you know that your brand can provide bowel cancer testing kits, and then so you decide, and then you want to go on top of that, but then you've just put it in the store, and that doesn't really align with, in terms of like your demographic or what your values, where you're really focusing on mental health, but then you have this product that's just in there. You just need to make sure that what you are doing, what you're stocking in your store, what you're putting on social media, what you're communicating, what you're marketing is a reflection of your value set, and also what your why. Now, a bowel cancer testing kit is amazing, and I think that's really, really great, but that's something that needs to be constant, and like having those conversations with your customers and working on it and providing them resources and building that collaboration, that's great, and you have to be willing to do that if that's what you want to be known for. But whatever you choose, you just really have to go in guns blazing and make sure that you is the true reflection of what your pharmacy is about. Yeah, it's just really, really important to understand what you want to be known for. Okay, so quick snapshot so far, because I've gotten you to write down a couple of answers to some questions that I just like to recalibrate. You understand your why, so why you're in business, why you're a pharmacist, why you chose that particular pharmacy, all of that. You understand your why. You understand your values. Values are so important with marketing. If you walk away from anything today, definitely hone into understanding your value set for your business. You know what you want to be known for. So you know your position, what your customer's perspective of you, and also not just even your customer's perspective, it's your local community's perspective, it's also your collaboration, so your allied health and your other health professionals and other local businesses, what their perception of you. Now, this is a big one. how can you stand out against competitors? So I'm going to pull a quote from John, and that is, sometimes pharmacies can be perceived by the public as the sea of sameness. So that means, you know, same service offering, same products, same type of service, all those things. Now I know, like hand on heart, I know that pharmacies are actually different. It's just like, it's crazy. Even if you're a pharmacy owner and you own multiple pharmacies, your pharmacies are never going to be exactly the same. It's like siblings. I'm one of 4 girls, and trust me, I'm very different to my sisters. I like to think, no, I definitely am very different. But just think of it like that. So there is ways to stand out against competitors, and actually, if you have and one of the key ways of doing that is by having a really defined and strong marketing strategies, and looking at what you do in your business, what your competitors don't do. A lot of you guys I know read my blog yesterday that I sent out. So that was really interesting. So I went to the pharmacy, the one that shall not be named. Harry Potter fans out there, yes, that was a quote for that. I went in there with my husband, and you know, he's not as exposed to the pharmacy industry as I am. He does listen to me what I say, but you know, I just don't know what goes in one ear and out the other, what actually he sticks to. But we went into that pharmacy, and the service that we got was just like, we were just another number, and it was just an exchange of cash, and that was it. And when I walked out, my husband noted that you pay for what you get. He wasn't like, he knew that this was a price-driven pharmacy, and he said, like, I am not going back to that pharmacy again. I am going to our local one, where he gets the personalized service, where they ask him about his medications. He's very health conscious, and he tracks everything to a fine detail. So he will like let you know if he hasn't slept properly. He'll know if he's got like suddenly an itch and he thinks it's to do with the medication. Like, he's very health focused. That's just my husband. So he really appreciates that personalized service. Whilst there's other people that really, really, really appreciate price-driven strategy, and that is their catchment, and that's why they go to that pharmacy, and that's great, and that's a great marketing strategy for them. But what do you guys do if you're not price-driven focused pharmacy? What do you do that you can stand out against your competitors? So this local pharmacy that in my local area, they're doing well because of the personalized service. That is a great thing that makes them stand out from the competitor. And they've just gained 2 loyal customers that will now leave our scripts on file there and just know we just have to be more organized on time. I will say I was a bit disappointed that my husband left it till like 9 p.m. at night for him to tell me he needed his script for the next day. But yes, so how can you stand out from your competitors? You just need to really think about what it is. And it can be as simple as, you know, looking at your team and the personality and the relationships that you have. And you just need to then communicate that outwards through your marketing. It could be, once again, a niche focus. It could be the relationships with like collaborations. It could be so many, like the products that you offer. There could be so many different things. I definitely think that's one of the most underutilized resources that pharmacies is showcasing the expertise and positioning yourselves as pharmacists. You guys studied for a very long time, and you definitely have such a wealth of knowledge, and working so closely with pharmacists, I've just realized how like impactful you guys can have on somebody's health and well-being. So, and I just think that that's not being communicated enough. So definitely something that I think that you could utilize, and that is something, if we're literally looking at the price-driven strategy, something to compete with, that's a great example. Okay, so how can you stand out from competitors? Okay, so now that you understand your values, now you understand your why, and you understand what you want to be known for, what is your USP, which is your unique selling proposition, what you can stand out with against competitors. How are you going to communicate that to people? What is your message? So a great way of thinking about this to like kind of like compact what your message is thinking about the elevator pitch. So you're walking into a lift with another person, you've got 20 seconds to get to the next floor, and they ask you what your pharmacy is all about and what is your business, and you should be able to like articulate that pretty quickly, and that really needs to incorporate your marketing strategy rather than just being, I own a pharmacy. So once again, picking on John, we are a boutique accounting firm specializing in pharmacy. That is a really great thing, and of course that is an example that's like quite easy to hone into because we are a niche, but you could be that, like, for example, I'm located in Mount Pleasant at the moment, so I'm just going to pretend I'm an owner of Mount Pleasant Pharmacy, and I say that I own local pharmacy in Mount Pleasant, and we have a special focus in mental health. I own, and that's one example, I own a pharmacy in Mount Pleasant, and I've got a team of pharmacists who have a vast experience and health expertise in a lot of health issues for the community. Or I'm the local pharmacy in Mount Pleasant, and we pride ourselves on our connection to our community. So it's just thinking about, and now this is not something that you're using as a tagline and that you're going to post all the things. It's just showing like the messaging and what you're communicating out. So with John, with all of our content and everything we communicate, we make sure it aligns with our values, but we make sure that it's relevant to what we're trying to market. So we could do accounting for any type of business, but we're not going to we're not going to provide content about that sort of stuff to our database, because it's not really what we're about. We're going to talk about the nitty-gritty of pharmacy accounting, marketing, and business consulting. So what is your message? What do you want to communicate out? And answering these questions just makes everything seem a little bit more simplified, because you're able to really look at what type of content would suit your marketing strategy, what type of people helps with achieving your goals and visions, so you just start thinking about that. And I know it's really hard sometimes to stop and think, because there's so much, life is busy, and being a pharmacy owner, you guys got a lot on your plate, but just having this sort of stuff in the back of your mind, thinking when you're making decisions for your business, is really, really powerful. Okay, now that you understand your purpose, values, and message, who would appreciate that type of service? So like I was talking before about my husband and I, like we appreciate the personalized service, and then other people appreciate price-driven services. Some other people definitely would have a particular interest in some niche offerings like baby health, mental health, sleep apnea, that's a big one. Also just holistic, like using Western medicine with wellness and holistic, because that's very topical, especially coming out of COVID. A lot of people's behaviors has changed, a lot of people have slowed down. So, thinking about the type of people who would appreciate your service and your message and your values. Okay, so part of your marketing strategy is really important. You need to determine your target audience. Now, before I begin, I want to let you know that it's definitely okay to have more than one target audience. A lot of you guys being a local pharmacy, your target audience is the catchment area around the local suburbs around your pharmacy, because that makes sense, because they're going to be the people that are regularly visiting where your pharmacy is located and things like that. If you're doing a niche offering, then that's your target audience will be a lot more defined. But what I'm trying to say is that you can have maybe, I would recommend definitely for on an average for a local pharmacy, there'd be about 2 to 4 different target audiences. The purpose of determining these target audiences is that you can mold and shape your marketing strategy to suit. So some of it suits one target audience, some suits the other, but your message is kind of underlying the same. Because, for example, if we pick on a suburb, so my old real estate job was in Midland, so I know the area very well. So Midland is a really old suburb, and there is actually a bit of an aging population there, because there's a lot of people that have been there between Storm Valley and Midland area that have been there 30+ years. So there's that demographic, the type of people that would be coming and visiting your pharmacy. But then also Midland is very close to a train line, so it's really accessible for people to get to and from different places. It is also it's quite a reasonably priced area to break into the property market. So there's a lot of seasoned investors. So then there's a lot of people that are renting there, and there's also a lot of young couples entering there, or young people trying to break into the property market. So therefore you would have slightly differing target audiences, where you would have the seniors, and then you would have the younger, the 25s to 35s that are entering that kind of industry. And then you also have to consider socio and economic impacts around that area as well. So there you go, you've already got 3 target audiences. And then so what you've got to do is, once you determine your target audiences, is figuring out how your marketing can suit these different audiences. So how do you determine your target audience? It's research, and this is an evolving thing. And I think definitely maybe once a quarter you should be looking into. I definitely think as you need to be as engaged as your local community as possible and keeping on top of like news and things, and like the power of social media and digital media. Like that's really accessible. You guys can sign up to your local government newsletters. You can join the Facebook groups, which sometimes can be quite a hefty job to go through, but just keeping your finger on the pulse, so to speak. But how to determine your target audience is, these are some of the things that I would look for, is like the location, age and gender, interests, hobbies. Once again, this word, values is really, really, really important because you want to find people that align with your values and then their values. And then it's just like if you make a friend, the thing that you like, you find common ground and what you guys have in common interests and what you share about similar value sets, and that's how you become friends. You essentially, what you want your business to build up like friendships with all your customers. So the way to do that is find a common ground and find a common interest. So values is really, really important. And it's really, really easy once you understand your own values to find your people, to find the people that will have interest in your service offering. And then once again, what products and services, because that aligns with their values. And if you begin to stock things that your customers actually want and need, and also like services as well, then that's great. And then also like information, that's another thing as well. Like what information will they seem like they find useful? So creating content and providing them with resources that really identifies with their needs and wants and values. So how to determine your target audience. Okay, so now that you know your target audience, how can you reach your target audience? Social media. If so, what channel? So I see a lot of pharmacies and it's great. Some people are like seeing everyone's on Instagram, seeing everyone's on Facebook, and then they're like, yeah, we just need to get on it. You need to have a strategy behind that, and you guys are time poor, and social media requires consistency, it requires creativity, and it requires a lot of effort. So I really would prefer that you guys do your research, understand your target audience, and then determine if social media is the right channel for you. For example, if you're trying to target someone like myself, who is nearly 30, I like to say, and I live with my husband, we don't have any children, we're both working corporate, so for us convenience is a really big thing, and then also we're both really big on wellness, in terms of like, we really gravitate towards certain products and services and offerings. Leaving scripts and files really works for us, because then we can just go through on the weekend when we're doing our food shopping. And also I use social media. I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly like, I'm probably going to have back problems, but I'm constantly scrolling through my feed. So Instagram would be perfect for me, because and if you're talking about things like wellness or like scripts on file and things like that, I would definitely, or the e-scripts as well, or like MedAdvisor, all that stuff. That would be something that I'd be interested in, and it would just make me stop and think about it. So, but then if you're trying to target someone, for example, over 55, Facebook is becoming an aging social media channel. Definitely like the Gen Z and stuff are moving towards, the TikToks of the world, and like Instagram, YouTube, and all those things. But Facebook, definitely over 55, there's been a huge leap in people joining on there. So that would be a great Facebook page. And I've been creating a Facebook page, and I've been working with clients, and their audience is around that age group, and the customers are loving that they're being more active on Facebook. They're loving it, and they're engaging, and they're really appreciating it. And we're turning sales from people seeing what's going on and coming in. So that's awesome. Okay, so social media channel. Events. Now I want to preface that in 2020, events doesn't necessarily mean in-house. After isolation, it can also be a Zoom, or GoToWebinar or anything like that, Teams. Events is great. And then once again, so how can you reach your audience? So I was working with a client, and they have a really large senior following. So a lot of customers are seniors. So we decided to host a morning tea, and we got other local businesses involved. We got like other health professionals. We had politicians, morning teas, and we thought, yeah, 20 would be a good number. Oh, I reckon there was about 50 to 75 people there, and they were loving it. And some people were boycotting other pre-planned events seniors so they could come down and support the local pharmacy. And when I was having these conversations, they love this pharmacy and they love being involved, and you know, they were signing up to their loyalty program, and they were looking into, like, you know, stuff like, you know, taste testers and things like that. They were really liking it, and they really appreciate it. So I said to my clients, I said, this is something that we need to leverage more, and you need to be doing this at least every 6 weeks, if not once a quarter. But for me, if we're going to pick on someone, say, I physically attending an event probably won't suit my lifestyle. I'm, you know, working, I've got Henry, my dog, and then I've got family, and, you know, for me, I like convenience. I'm definitely one that will jump behind watching a webinar if it's something that I see value of, when, you know, I'm having a cup of tea at home whilst painting my nails, or, you know, so there is so many opportunities for you guys. So when I think about events, I want you guys to think about 2020. It doesn't necessarily always have to be in front of people, but if your target audience would appreciate more of the face-to-face, like, you're not going to get, like, trying to target an online event for seniors is not really going to, mind you, my granddad's pretty good on the internet, but I'm just saying, like, definitely cater how you're going to reach them to suit them, not to suit you. Collaborations. That is a great way to reach your target audience, because all of your collaborations, they're going to have all of their target audiences and all their customer base. And if their customer base aligns with your value set and who you're trying to reach, leverage that. And I think it's, once again, a really underutilized resource in pharmacy. Some pharmacies are doing exceptionally well at this, and there's an example that I'll show you in a second. But yeah, collaborations is a great one. And if we're talking back to Zoom, I would just, if you guys take this idea, I'd just like you to, like, just preface that, like, I gave you the idea, because I think it's really cool. At the moment, a lot of people are working from home has become very you know, topical, because a lot of people were doing it during COVID, and a lot of companies have realized that flexibility works for their business. So some people are working at their workstations, but, you know, everybody's working from home, or they're working in the office, and we're all slowly becoming really round-shouldered, and, you know, we're having a lot of back pain because we're sitting in our desk for a very long time. This is a perfect way for you guys to jump on with your local physio or chiro, and then you guys could talk about pain management and pain management workshops. You guys could even get someone to get the physio on to help with stretches, and you guys can talk about weight bags and then over-the-counter products that can help you if you start having muscle strain in your back. I think that would be really cool, and it just needs to be short, concise, 10-15 minutes. This is what you need to do. And then what you could also do is record that webinar and then send it out to all of the local businesses and say, hey, like, I know that you guys are working long hours sitting at your desk here, watch this video. This would be really great for your stuff, because everybody is, like, workplaces are really progressive now and keeping up with the well-being of your health. Another collaboration which is really cool is mental health. You guys can do mental health first aid. You guys are also the protocol when people have been prescribed certain medications. And for somebody that is struggling with mental health, it really does take a village. And so I would think a great event would be working with a psychologist, working with your local GP and your pharmacist. So then if somebody is struggling or is going through something or having medication changes, then that they can come and talk to all of you guys, and you guys are like a collaboration, so they feel like they've got like a team of people looking after them, because they're already, if they're struggling with mental health, they're already feeling isolated, and they're going to go to their health professionals. So that is a great way. There are so many things. And the collaborations, once again, these collaborations have to be, don't do it just because it's an opportunity, do it because it aligns with your values, it aligns with your marketing strategy, and it helps you reach your target audience. Sorry. Catalogs is another one. Is that reaching your target audience? If so, is there a way that you can work towards reaching the right people? Definitely with catalogs as well. Like, I know some people love catalogs, other people, maybe it might be a matter of creating like an e-catalog and using EDMs and stuff. Thinking of ways to reach your audience. Blogging is another one. Firstly, I really believe that every pharmacy should have a website, because it helps you with search engine optimization, and it helps you control what people find out about you. So you're able to rank high in, and also it helps competing with people that have more marketing budgets behind you and can pay for AdWords and stuff. You can organically create with blogging. That's why I was getting into blogging, to create a presence for yourself online. So blogging is definitely one. And if you're trying to reach a certain person, and once again, people go on Google looking for answers. And imagine if you typed in an answer. So If I, for example, I was just talking about mental health, if I was saying mental health support Mount Pleasant and I clicked enter, imagine if you guys were the answer, and then they went and read your information, and then they build that trust with you, so then they come to you and you can refer them on or talk to them and be their, you know, the guidance for them. That is just so powerful and something that is not being leveraged enough within pharmacy. So take this opportunity and yeah, get online. So how can you reach your target audience? And be as creative as you can, as long as you're sticking within the guidelines that the Pharmacy Guild have on the back of their website in terms of social media and marketing, and also I can send through to you as marketing guidelines and things like that. And it's always a true reflection, it's professional, and you're not giving out information that is not, you know, supported or, you know, not worth, yeah, that could get you in trouble, which I think it's definitely with your guys' expertise. It's just like a matter of putting certain disclaimers and also, yeah, following certain guidelines. You guys have you have the ability to create some really cool content, and the world is your oyster. The only person that is preventing you from doing that is yourself. So definitely start thinking. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the how to determine your marketing strategy, and we're going to talk about measurement. So important, so important. It's in capitals. What do you need to track? What data do you need to track? So before I was talking about how marketing is very weighted in data. So if you're creating marketing, if you're going on particular marketing channels, so going on social media, doing blogging, creating events, you need to track all the data. You need to track on social media. I want you to forget about the followers and likes. I want you to focus on the engagement, and also how the reach. So how many people are you reaching? How many people are seeing your content? For website traffic, you should be non-negotiable, should be tracking that weekly, and then seeing when you're having spikes. So when people are like visiting your website most. So for example, we had a very big spike yesterday, and that was because I put out a blog and people really engaged with it. Whilst I sent out some content that I wrote a few weeks ago, and it wasn't right. People like, I thought it was good content, which by the way, sometimes that does happen. You put stuff out and you think something, but then the audience interprets it as something different, and it just wasn't the right fit. And then like you tweak it and evolve it, so then you will get more interest for it. So websites, definitely think. Events, tracking how many people attended, looking for the feedback, seeing if the subject matter was something that they were looking for. Really tracking everything that you do is so important, because you've got to see what's successful and what's not, and to be able to experiment, do A/B testing and seeing. So measurement is so important. And there's definitely KPIs that you need to follow. So if you would like those KPIs, just flick me an email and I can help you with that. Okay, so now I'm going to share you a case study, just an example of a pharmacy that I've been stalking for, oh, hang on just 1 second. I'm pretty sure I'll go through the summary of the market. Sorry, yes, I go through the steps first. But I'm actually, yeah, we'll go through this first. Okay, so summary of the marketing strategy steps. Sorry guys, I got ahead of myself. The first one, determine what you want to be known for. Curate the message you will communicate. So what you're going to communicate. Understand your target audience. Decide how you will communicate to your target audience. The communication channels you will use, social media, website, face-to-face events, collaborations. Determine how you will track the success. So that is the summary. Now this is literally only the beginning stages, and once you actually sit down and fine-tune it, there's a few little more steps in between that, but this is a really good starting point and like a really good template for you to start working towards really understanding or rejigging your marketing strategy. So now I can share, I just jumped ahead. Now I can share the case study. So I've been stalking these guys ever since I started working at Peak Strategies, and they're exceptional. They really understand what their marketing strategy is, and every piece of content they put out and every like communication channel, everything, it really relates to their strategy. And that is Terry White, Ken Mark Stanford. They were Pharmacy of the Year a few years back, and that's how I discovered them. And I just think that Karen and the team are there, like, pats on the back, guys. You really are doing an exceptional job. So the main channels that I find online, because they're over east, I've never physically been in the store. This is I'm looking online, is from Facebook, and also their own website called the Clinic Hub. And their marketing strategy is pretty much to be the health destination for their local community. They have such a strong community focus, and they do a lot of collaborations and a lot of events with great results, with great attendance, which just like everything in that pharmacy relates to their customer and what the customer sees value in, and they're going out into their community almost weekly, supporting them. You know, it says on their website, there's so much more than a pharmacy, and that is really, really true, and they're doing great. So I definitely recommend you to stalk them or investigate them. Okay, so what they do well, collaborations with other local allied health. So these are some of the workshops that they've been doing, both online on Zoom, and then also face-to-face, is like men's health, pain management, sleep health, and more. They've even created like a health expo day where they get the local community comes for like a day, and it's like actually not inside the pharmacy. It's it's pretty much like a fete for health for their local community. It's just extraordinary. I'm just so in awe of what they do. They really understand their marketing strategy. Local community focused, so they do a lot of local community focused sponsorship, collaborations, content, and team. Really impactful and powerful, and they just do such a great job. Regular content released through their social media channels and website. That's just, they do an amazing job, and they're consistent, and all of their content and social media is a true reflection of that community feel. They showcase their team's expertise, so it's, you know, everybody in their team embodies the same values that the pharmacy does. So it's just amazing, and they're open to showcasing their personality. So they're just amazing, and I really think that is something that you can check out. And their marketing strategy is really, really, really defined based on their local area. So it's not something that I would say that you could go exactly replicate at your pharmacy, because you've got your own perks, your own personality, your own team, your own customers, your own service, your own location. But what they've done is they've put in the effort, they've put in the research, and they've also been really, really consistent. So just kudos to them, and it's proof that pharmacies can do it. There's also some other pharmacies, great examples. There's a pharmacy located in WA that are so exceptional with their baby health, and I seriously, when I go visit that page, all the people that are people that I know, they're not in that area that the pharmacy is located in, and they're just, all of their content and messages around that, and it's just like they've just got such a loyal customer base and built up such a trust with their marketing strategy. Okay, so what do you do now? So I've just fed you guys a lot of information in a short space of time. I hope you did have your coffees and teas. So you need to curate and implement your marketing strategy. And that means that if you do it, if you haven't already, or if you already kind of know what your marketing strategy is, that you just want to fine tune it, you still should be doing this. So because that you guys were so lovely to get up in the morning so early and to chat with me, I really appreciate it. I'm offering all of you guys, if you want to reach out to me on email, I'm going to provide you with a template that will help kickstart it's like a bigger version of what I've done now, and it will help you create your plan. And then once you walk away with that, you'll have kind of like some steps to success for your pharmacy. So definitely reach out to me. I'll be accepting it by email, and I'll be sharing my contact details on the next slide. But if I was you guys, I did definitely be leveraging this opportunity, and definitely heading towards the new financial year. This is the perfect time for you guys to start recalibrating and thinking about what you're going to be doing for the next 12 months. And marketing is really, really fun. And also having a document and stuff, this is something that you can share with your team, and then you are able to get involved and get them involved. And yeah, it's just like a great starting point. But it is essentially a piece of paper, and you filling your details is actually you following up and the actions behind once you've created the plan. Okay, and now just while we're winding up in the end, I just want to talk to you guys about the Peak Marketing Tribe. This is a project that John and I have been talking about for a little bit, and we've just hit go recently, and we're really, really excited about it. So join us. What the Peak Marketing Tribe will be is just pharmacy specific content sent to your inbox. So you guys already receive a lot of my blogs and things through our Peak mailing database, but this will be more regular content only for the Peak Marketing Tribe mailing list. You can follow us on Instagram. We're sharing some nuggets of gold, both John and I. John has graduated from my apprentice to, I don't know, marketing guru now. He's really good, and because of his expertise in the pharmacy industry, he's just been so great. Like, that's why it's a tribe. It's not just me. It's like John and I and Vic and everyone, Priya. It's really, really cool, and the Instagram is great. So both John and I will be sharing content on there. Webinars, so we're going to continue this webinar. I actually have a content calendar. This was a very broad webinar, this one, the first one, and but the next few ones we're going to get really into gutsy, heavy topics and really like a narrow focus. So definitely make sure you join the mailing list so you can be the first to know about these webinars, and then videos and more. So contact us via the Peak Strategies website or email me at sarah.rendell@peakstrategies.com. And yeah, join us. It will be a lot of fun. Marketing is fun, and it also really helps the success of your business. And the purpose of marketing is to build a loyal database and a loyal customer base of people that will return and visit your pharmacy consistently. Okay, final handy hints. Don't be afraid to be different. Dare to be different. I mean, we took a giant leap with the bright orange and being called Peak Strategies, and it's fun and it's great, and it's good to be the unicorn and stand out. Utilize the personality of your team and brand. Your team is your biggest marketing asset, will always be. And I just think that, yeah, definitely when you do your marketing strategy, consider how you can incorporate them into the mix. Always choose a marketing strategy that fuels your passion and aligns with your values. Okay, and just quickly, I'm just going to check if there's any questions. 1 second. There is no. I did have a question prior to recording the webinar, and that was about influencer marketing and whether that is impactful for a pharmacy. I think that influencer marketing could work. Firstly, it is quite an expensive exercise, but I would be looking more at the micro influencing level. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, you know, it's the influencers on Instagram and Facebook that have a large following. What I would do is I'll deep dive and look into my research, because it's really like there's a lot of local Perth people that do have, and also over East as well, if you're over East, that do have a local following. But what I would do is I take it a step further. I look at the micro influencers, so the people that are between the 2,000 to 10,000 followers, which just sounds, that does not sound micro, but it is. And people that are in your area that would actually be likely to shop at your pharmacy. And then I would take them on like an ambassador approach, where I would get like work out an agreement with them, and it would have to be a paid incentive, because that's how they make money, and you know, everybody deserves to be paid for their work. But working on definitely choosing an influencer that will actually have an audience that impacts you. So choosing an influencer that is actually within your local area that will actually attract an audience that will be likely to shop from you, because I would rather have, you know, the theory of having 5 close friends as opposed to having like 10 fake friends. That's the similar with your audience, and Instagram is making sure, and your target audience is making sure that you've got an engaged audience. There's no point marketing to a mass if they're not ever going to actually shop from you. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I definitely need a large glass of water after this and another coffee, but it was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm so passionate about community pharmacy and marketing, and I do really believe that there is so much opportunity for you guys. So if you ever have any questions, I've got an open door policy. Always call the office or click me an email, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the gram and other webinars soon. Bye. Oh, I've got a question. Oh, someone just said thank you, Sarah. Thank you. All right, bye everyone. See ya. All right, see ya everyone.